changeover was the grant that we got to have Work for the Dole happening in '99, and then that began a whole process of employment of people.
We've also had one-off grants from a range of organisations, of different government grants, whether it's Bush Food, Living in Harmony, New Farmers Project through Family and Community Services.
We basically survive on government grants and project grants, and over the last 5 years we've progressively put more staff on to the point that we now employ 8 part-time staff as project officers.
Government funding can change very quickly, and the political will can change very quickly, so I always think it's great if community groups can find ways to be as self-sufficient as possible in terms of income producing.
We're building up our enterprises. I think that's our number one strategy, so that we are earning a reasonable proportion of the farmer's income from the nursery, the coffee shop, the farmer's market and our training programs.
For 5 years I was involved here as a volunteer before I was applied for one of the jobs that came up, which was supervising a community jobs program. So for 6 months I worked with these 14 trainees, and out of that came the Green Waste Recycling Centre, which has now actually been imported into the Solomon Islands. And also the nursery, it has been developing as quite a successful enterprise. It's been going now for 4 years and employs 2.5 people. It's open 5 days a week, and it grows all its own edible plants and sells them to the public.
We need bigger and more viable enterprises, and we need to get a few large grants.
Government has a role in supporting community gardens and city farms because of the social benefits that they produce.
It's essential that we maintain places within our cities that can actually produce food. We're maintaining bushland areas, we've got housing areas, we've got recreation areas, but we take food for granted.
Growing food together is a great community tool. It's a thing that people love to do together. Not everyone, but lots of people.
Now, in 2005, the farm's quite developed. We've got 3 hectares of council land. On that, when people come for a tour, they'll get shown through a nursery, a kitchen that's open as a coffee shop every Saturday. There's a very popular organic farmers market that gets about 1,000 people through a week every Saturday morning. You'll find kitchen gardens where we produce all the food and herbs for the lunches that happen here every day. You'll find chickens, ducks, worm farms, compost area, a market garden that produces produce for the Saturday market, bush regen, bush tucker, and we've revegetated the creek along Enoggera Creek.
Permaculture now has moved some of its training into the mainstream with an accreditation system through a national training network. And so now we're offering accredited permaculture training level 2 for Work for the Dole and for our CJP participants.
Everybody wants to come and do their industry placement at Northeast Street City Farm because everybody seems to get on so well. It's, as I say, a very social group and everybody's very friendly. It's very open and welcoming.
Things happen differently at Northeast Street. Sometimes they happen just the same, and that's good. Sometimes we make as many mistakes as we can possibly fit into the time available.
I wouldn't have planted a whole lot of trees where we first planted them because we had to chop a few out because they were in the wrong spot.
I can remember being down there trying to run a 13-week semi-peat permaculture design certificate all by myself on Saturday mornings.
For me, it's shown how effective no-dig gardening is and working on the soil. It's a fantastic example of how using permaculture principles you can turn around absolutely degraded land. To be able to create this urban oasis, it's an edible botanic garden, it's beautiful.
The time that I was involved in City Farm, I can't think that I would do too many things differently. I look back on the time I spent here really fondly, and I think some of my strongest memories are some of the people that we were able to include and that maybe weren't included in other sorts of groups.
There's a few of us have been involved most of the way through, and there's a core group involved now, and I suppose at times you tend to think that we're the main people here, but you realise when you look back over those photos that there's so many other great people who were involved at various times, and so that this and their effort and energy lives on in this place.
You know, I remember shuffling the pieces of paper around on the piece of paper, trying to work out where everything would go, and now it's on the ground, it's growing, it's lush, people are here, there's activity everywhere. It's just this cultural hub for sustainability.
Which one? I'll go